You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, there's a lot of ways to make money in real estate. You could just buy homes or condos and rent them annually, monthly. You could do short-term vacation rentals. But what about Airbnb without the baggage, without the luggage? For a longer-term commitment, you're still going to make more cash flow, and effectively, you get the benefits of Airbnb without the burdens. I'm talking about my next guest is Johnny Wolff, and Johnny, your site is livehomeroom.com, and if I have it right, basically you provide investors a means of renting it by the room rather than by the home, effectively. And I know you came from Austin, and my son lived in Austin for a while. A lot of people, especially when they're attending university, are just looking for a room to rent. So with that introduction here, tell us about your evolution here, how you started this business.
So I started my career in the Silicon Valley as a financial analyst, and but, early in my career, I thought it'd be great to invest in real estate because it was, buzzy. Everyone thinks real estate's the answer to generating wealth. In my first property, I did okay, not amazing. It was in Midland, Texas, but I learned real estate and started to analyze it. And I realized over the next 5 to 7 years after I bought a number of other properties that real estate was the investment strategy I wanted to use to kind of build out my personal net worth. So I moved to Austin in 2015 and invested in a number of single family homes and rented each out by the room. I'd lived in roommate houses in San Francisco for a long time, and so I thought it just made sense. And I was able to get quite a bit more rent, in some cases 50% more, some 30% more. It was a bit more work, but when at the beginning of your real estate kind of investment kind of push, every dollar matters. So I did that across Austin and then Kansas City, and a few of my friends said, "Hey, how do I invest like this? It seems like you're doing really well." And so then Homer was born. So we started in 2018. We now have 1,200 rooms on the platform where people can we help people find homes or onboard their homes on our platform to rent them out by the room for up to 50%, between, averaging 35 to 50% more rent for the same exact house.
Interesting. And okay, so obviously there's more management. It's more management intensive when you have 3 people, say, renting a 3-bedroom home than just one person renting an entire house. What does that look like in terms of actually doing this, actually running your properties?
Yeah, more labor intensive is, it's an understatement. I think, the spectrum of you got your single family homes, it's pretty straightforward, annual leases. Any syndicated site can get you a renter, and then the leases are standard. And then you got on the other side, you've got your short-term rentals where it's people are moving in and moving out. You got to furnish it. You got star reviews to worry about constantly. It's super heavy management. And there's companies like Vacasa who charge like 40%, to run those for you because it is really, really hard. And I think we're kind of in the middle, right? We get you more rent, but the average people sign on for a year. There is some, roommate dynamics that we manage, I think is, really well. But it costs a bit more, but yeah, we vet people. We have pretty aggressive leasing and marketing team for tenants. We have a really nice onboarding team, as well as a roommate and house management team. We provide like maid service, yard care. There's some things with shared housing that if you don't do it centrally, then it may or may not get done. For example, the lawn getting mowed. And we found that when the lawn doesn't get mowed, the city comes knocking, which is not awesome. So we just take care of that stuff, right? So it makes the roommate experience better. They stay longer, and then the owner makes more on their investment.
Right. Okay. So what's the average tenancy length? How long do they stay for?
Yeah, the average length of stay is 16 months. It kind of varies based on when they sign, but most people are signing for a 12-month lease. It's a bit cheaper. You can do shorter, but it will charge more. And so, yeah, most people are usually doing a 12-month lease with an extension.
All right. And yeah, so is this mostly student housing, or does it cross over?
Yeah, it's mostly not student housing, actually. We rarely house students. The average age of people that live with homeroom is 29. So it's mostly, a lot of people are looking for a more flexible way to live, a more social way to live, and a way to live that's cheaper. For a tenant to live in a homeroom is 30 to 50% cheaper than a studio apartment in the same neighborhood. And so, affordable housing is, a challenge today. So homeroom is offering that in a way that's pretty streamlined, pretty professional, and, it's hard to compete with it, especially on a price basis.
Okay. And so you were saying that the people 18 to 25, is that your key demographic?
18 to 35 really is the key demographic, but it really skews towards the mid to late 20s.
And so in that generation, in that demo, is this what they expect? They're going to be sharing a house because it's so expensive. They can't afford to buy it on their own. Maybe they don't want to live on their own. How's it work?
Yeah, the percentage of people living with roommates is actually more than doubled on a percentage basis over the last few decades. Now 26% of young adults are living with roommates. So I don't know if they necessarily expect it, but it is an option that, like, most people in that age group know people that are living with roommates today. It's hard to buy a house. It's hard to save to buy a house. People have a lot of student debt. So, and also people are waiting a lot longer to get married. So there's just this big window of time where affordability is important and you don't have two incomes.
Right. Okay. So this is kind of like transitional housing, if I have that right, correct?
I guess. I think all of life is a transition, right? So I think, I think life stages come and go in all different directions. And so this is sort of, some people are transitioning out of marriages into homeroom. Some people are transitioning in, out of college. It's all over the game. It's all over. We don't really say this is for pre-marriage, but we do find that there's a massive demand in that group. So something like that, I think, could be said.
Interesting. And it seems like it's really a growing market, huh?
Yeah, it's been growing for the last 4 decades, that's for sure. So does it turn around at some point? If housing becomes more affordable, it's hard to say which the biggest driving factor is. I think it's a mix of housing affordability, loneliness, and delayed marriages. I think all those together kind of just, the standard apartment is fine, but it is very isolating, and it is very expensive, and you have to, and it's very constrictive in terms of what you can do with homeroom. You can kind of, in our app, you hit a button, you can transfer to a different location, transfer between cities. So, housing is it doesn't feel very modern, even in like nice newer apartment buildings. So there's also a portion of this that is the experience of living doesn't have to feel so 1980s. And so that's something that we're also really focused on and why people really enjoy what we offer.
Okay. All right. So we want to find out more if we own property. We want to engage the service. How do you find it?
We're at livehomeroom.com. You can kind of, we have a few options. If you're a tenant, you can hit us up. We have some virtual tours of homes. If you're an investor, you can schedule a time with our investments team and they'll kind of talk you through how it all works. And if you ever have questions about roommate living, you can email me at johnny@livehomeroom.com. I like to chat about it. It's kind of it's a big hobby of mine. And also, that's how you get a hold of us.
Okay. Well, the link will be in the show notes, livehomeroom.com. And if you have any questions for Johnny and myself, shoot us an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll get you an answer quick. Sounds like a very valuable service. We didn't even talk about the roommate screening and judgment searches and evictions and criminal record searches, all part of the platform. And Johnny, good luck with the service and appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, Kerry, thanks so much for having me. I had a great time and really nice chatting with you and your audience.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.